Good evening, Cricut South Africa. My name is Soraya. I am so excited for our class today. If you can hear me and see me, please let me know. Hello, Sarah. Okay, I see a few people joining the chat. Sarah said loud and clear. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah. Hi, Julie. Okay, so I'm going to wait for a few more people to join before we kick off this Cricut class. Okay, let me follow along with you guys. Okay, so I'm just going to wait one more minute and then we can kick off this class. How was Easter, everyone? Let me know how your Easter went. I know a few people are still on holiday, so hopefully we have quite a good turnout today. Hello, Soraya. Hello, Julie. Okay, so I'm going to get started. Once again, hello, everyone. My name is Soraya. Today, we are doing a Cricut intermediate class on small business branding. So basically, a lot of us, like myself, joined the Cricut family. I joined it completely by mistake, but most of us join it for crafting reasons. And then the more you craft, the more you give people, the more people actually want things from you. And before you know it, your Cricut adventures have turned into a small business because everyone absolutely loves the things that you're doing and they want to buy it from you. I absolutely do not blame them because you can make some pretty awesome things with your Cricut. And so today what I want to do is I want to show you a way that you can level up your small business. And for me, it doesn't matter whether you are still starting out, whether you're a really well-established small business. This is a class or this is just information I think that would be great for many people. So I hope you enjoy all the things that I'm going to share today. I will show you what we're going to be making. We'll switch over to Design Space and I'll show you exactly what we're going to be doing. But to get started, one of the things that I believe and I think is that you can definitely have a quality product or service, but I think something that a lot of businesses or small businesses lack is that branding, and your branding is your identity. Who are you? What do you do? What is your vibe? Who is your tribe? That is part of small business branding. Small business branding, like for example, if you put a logo onto a sticker, if you make a thank you card, it really is a powerful tool that creates an experience for the customer. Something small, like I said, a thank you card can set you apart from other small businesses, and I think it actually makes your business unique and it can catch your customers' attention. So the difference between shopping at a big corporate store or small business is corporate businesses or big box stores or whatever you call them sometimes lack that experience that the customers are looking for. It's pretty much everybody in, everybody out, sales here, there. You don't get that experience, and that's why some people like myself look to small businesses because you want that experience. And so whether it's a market or whether it's buying from someone on Etsy, on Instagram, wherever it is, for me, it's about the experience. It's about how that product makes me feel, how that product, when you open your box or when you open your envelope, when you open your package, how do you feel? What is that experience? And I remember the very first time getting a handwritten thank you card from someone. I got into polymer clay making and I bought some cutters. When it arrived, there was a handwritten thank you card, and I loved it. I still have it with my... Okay, I think we got disconnected, but I think we're back again. It did start raining here, so I'm hoping that it isn't going to interfere with our class today. So this is what one of the things we're going to be looking at. This is a thank you card. You can see it really is just a small little card. Here are these earrings that I was looking for. So this here is a little washing instruction for items that you might make with iron-on vinyl. It's just a little t-shirt with a hanger, which I think is quite cute. And then various things like this is a cup. Lali said if it's cold. It is. It just started raining, so hopefully we don't disconnect again. So this is a cup, what do you call it? Cup care. So these are like cup care, and this is like t-shirt, or if you're doing any kind of material care. And then you can also have some tags, you can have some stickers, just to add a little something to your business. So that is what we're going to be making today, and you can see they all have a theme going on, and so that is what we're going to focus on. So let's switch over to Design Space. So I already have a project. It's called Small Business Branding or Custom Packaging, and just going to go customize it. I'll take the cold weather for Durban today. Usually we're sitting in the heat during these classes, so I am super happy about the cold. All right, so I'm just gonna zoom in here so you can see exactly what we are making. So this is what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to show you how I designed the thank you card. So when it comes to your small business branding or your small business packaging, something that is super important is you need to ask yourself, what is your business? What is your brand? Who is your customer? And that needs to appeal to your customer. So I know that this that you see on the screen is not going to appeal to everyone. To some people it might be too much, to some people it might be too little, and to some people it might be girly or whatever it is. But what I'm going to show you is how you can just edit this, how you can change it, how you can make it your own. And I have two kinds of styles that I like. One is more boho and simple, and one is more anime, the fun things. So I have different styles, but when I was designing this for this class, I wanted to definitely do something that would appeal, or a lot of people can use and edit very easily. So that's what we're going to be doing. So at the top here, you can see, I'm just going to detach it. At the top here, we have a thank you card. So for the thank you cards, I personally don't think that they need to be very big. They can be about, mine are usually about 10 by 6.5. And then I have some tags. So this is a tag that I would typically use for my mugs. I love mugs. I love gifting mugs. So these are like smaller tags here that I would put on my mugs. And you can see here I've tried to keep it very basic, so you can literally plug in your name and your details to this template very easily, or create something similar. Here, this is the cup care. So this is great if you're making bottles with vinyl, if you're making Libby cups, that sort of thing. And then here, you can't really see it because there's a white background, but this is the t-shirt or the garment care. That's got a little t-shirt outline and a little hanger. And then here we have another tag, and this tag I use for bigger items like my tote bags or my t-shirts, things like that. And then these two here at the bottom, I don't necessarily actually do print then cut for cardstock for these two, but this is what I would actually use for stickers. So necessarily actually do print then cut for cardstock for these two, but this is what I would actually use for theme items, I would create stickers out of these, and I put the stickers everywhere. So you can see here we've got a few shapes, we've got a few styles, and I'm going to show you exactly how I did this. So I'm just going to duplicate this. Actually, no. Okay, wait, I'm going to delete this. We don't need to duplicate it. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I designed the thank you card and then how I applied it to different shapes. We're not going to design every single one. So I'm going to add a shape to the canvas. Okay, and then let's just attach these. And I'm going to make my shape here. Okay, let's hide this. And let's go in here so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So here I'm going to make this a custom size. So I'm going to click on the lock here and I'm going to make it 10 by 6.5. So this is an intermediate class, so I am going to be going a little faster than usual and not necessarily explaining everything in great detail. But if you need some assistance, please do ask questions in the chat. We do have admin that is available and are ready to answer your questions. And I can see your questions as well. Remember, there is a replay, so if you can't stay for the whole class, you can definitely catch the replay. Hello, Feroza. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here, just because it might be a little hard to see, maybe not just yet, but if we change this, the white might get hard to see. So I'm going to change this to a light gray, just so that we can see exactly what we're doing. So this is the size that I wanted for my thank you card. So the first thing I did was decide what kind of vibe I wanted. For this, I wanted sort of a boho-y look. So I chose a bunch of shapes and things to put onto my canvas. So here, this orange one, that was a paint splat. That's how I found that one. This one was also different paint splat. I'm going to add this to the canvas. Here there's a line, and this down here, which I used for the dots, that was snow. Okay, so I'm just going to add these, but I'm also going to show you exactly how I search for each of the elements. And if you want the codes for each of the elements, I will also share those as well. Okay, let's take the filter off. So I wanted wildflowers. I love the wildflower look. So I searched for wildflower and just went through and decided what kind of flower I wanted, if I wanted a whole bunch of flowers or just a singular flower. So that's how I found that line art that I have on the canvas. And then the other thing that I did look for as well, oopsie, was thank you. And you can see here there's a bunch of different thank you images that you can use. You don't have to use text where you add it yourself. You can use one of these images depending on what you're looking for. If you don't want to go through the hassle of designing, you can actually do thank you small business. You can search for thank you small business, and you'll see that there is a bunch of things that come up. Thank you for supporting my small business. There are stickers. There's pretty much anything you'll need. So if you don't have time to go through and design stickers for your small business, Design Space has you covered. So you can definitely find something here for what you're looking for. So I'm going to go back to my images, and it's my bookmark images, and this was the thank you that I used, and this is the wildflower. Please let me know if you want to know the image codes, but I will also show you exactly how you can find the image codes from my project. So I'm just going to bring my elements over here, and now I'm going to place my pieces. So this is pretty much what I did. For this part, honestly, it is just about playing around with the shapes, deciding kind of what you want them to look like. I'm just going to pop that here, and then I had the blob. I think I had this one, something like this. And if you want to, you can click the lock here, of course, to change the parameters of your item. Okay, so the one at the top, I made this pink color, and the one at the bottom, I made like a dusty gray. I don't know what you call that. All right, so this is the first part of my design. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on my shape or my square, whatever that I'm using, and I'm going to add an offset of 0. So the reason I'm adding an offset of 0 is just because I want the same shape that I'm using, the same size in the same space. And so that is going to come onto the screen. So I'm just going to hide that. And now I'm going to grab the top shape, and I'm going to slice, and I'm going to grab the bottom shape, and I'm going to slice, and now I'm going to delete all the black pieces, delete all the excess pieces, and if I bring my square back, now you can see how I created the design on my card. Now, if you didn't want to do colors, Cricut has Print Then Cut patterns that you can use. So you can turn this from a basic cut to a Print Then Cut. Click on the color up here. Click from color to pattern. And instead of using a color like I did, you can use a pattern. So this pretty pink pattern here might be the vibe that you're going for. So I've just turned this into a cute little custom pattern that I just made. With these patterns, if you want to change what the pattern looks like, you can also edit pattern. And if you wanted to make it bigger, you can. If you want to see the spots bigger, if you wanted to change the alignment of it, that's how you would do it here. But I'm actually just going to go back and I'm going to do color. But this is one of the ways you can adjust or change the template that I have created, just by taking the shapes and putting a pattern to it. You don't have to do the shape that I used. You can literally take any shape, any image from Design Space. If I wanted this thank you, I could do the same thing. I can take the thank you, turn it into a Print Then Cut, and put a pattern on it, so that, for example, these shapes here and the thank you match. So before we go any further, I'm going to ungroup my thank you, and I'm just going to move it out because I don't actually want the stars. Let's delete those. And now I'm going to bring the thank you. So I wanted the thank you aligned to the right. So I did that, and then I grouped it. And then I rotated it 90 degrees because I wanted it on the side. Oopsie. Okay, let me just, sorry, 270. Okay. And then I resized it and popped it on the top here. Again, this is just about feeling out the design, seeing what you like. So that I just popped it here. And then I added the rest of the elements. So next up I added the line. So with the line I just duplicated it and I put one at the bottom. I made it a little thinner. And this one, the same thing. I just clicked on the lock, made it a little thinner and popped it there. But I think it's disappeared because it is below. Let's bring it to the front. There it is. Okay, and then next up, let me turn this back to white so you can see that it looks pretty much like what we've already designed. And then next up I put the little wildflower. Here, let's bring this to the front as well. And you can size this as big or small as you wanted. And then the last thing I wanted was some dots. So for this, instead of using like circles, I decided to just come here and I grabbed a shape. I cut some of the dots that I wanted. So the reason I just didn't use normal dots is because you can see they are kind of, they're not perfect circles. That's the word, circles. They're not perfect circles. So I wanted to just use something a little different. So I just plopped them along. I put another set of these dots at the bottom as well. But basically this is how I came up with the template for my thank you card. Once you're done with your template, your verbiage, what you put on it, I think is also super important. So for me, I love all things local. So the verbiage I wanted to use it is local, supporting my local business. So that's what I use. But as you saw when I showed you earlier, you can actually just find a thank you message that's there and pop it onto this template. You could literally do anything from here. You can put a QR code, you can put literally anything. So this is how I designed the basic design for this. And then for the tags, and I'll show you now how you can actually change how you can put this on other different shapes, for example. So when I do onesies, for example, the t-shirt care, I put that on the onesies as well. So this is my tag. So what I would do here, of course, this is my as well. So this is my tag. So what I would do here, of course, this is my thank you card done. I would, so that it's safe, I would duplicate it, and I'm just going to delete this thank you card because we don't really need it anymore. But imagine that I've just hidden it. This is the one that I've deleted, is the one that we're keeping safe because we're going to use it again. And so you would basically delete this outline here, And then just bring this over to your tag. So here's my tag. I'm deciding what part of this paint blob I want on my tag. So I'm going to say bring it down like this, something like that. And you could bring this over here. Now the tag shape and the shape of the thank you card are a bit different. If the shape is the same, you can actually just put the tag shape right over this part. So I'm going to show you. Actually, let's go back. So if I wanted to, I can actually just take all of this and put it on here instead of moving everything over as I was doing earlier. You can actually take it and move it over because I don't really need that. I don't need that. I will keep the line and maybe move it over there and put these dots here. So you can see if your shapes are very similar, instead of moving the shapes, just put your new shape in the spot that you need it, and you can go from there. And we're going to do the same thing where I'm actually going to make the flower a bit smaller. Then I'm going to, oh, we can leave the flower, it is actually. I'm going to do the same thing I did earlier, which is take the offset from the tag, and then I'm just going to slice that, and again I'm going to slice that as well. I'm going to delete all the extra pieces here, bring my flower to the front, bring my dots to the front, and my line to the front as well, and then just decide where I want to put my line. So basically here I'm just showing you how you can take your design that you come up with and put it onto different shapes, keeping the same theme, keeping the same vibe. So I'm going to delete that, and again, if you didn't see or you don't quite know, if you wanted to turn this into a pattern, you can turn your shape into a print then cut, come down to color, go to pattern, and let's see, I'm going to filter the patterns. Let's go for something, let's go with something a bit darker. Ooh, let's go for something fun. How about that? Would that be a fun pattern? Oh, that's interesting. I mean, it's a bit more, but it's interesting. But again, this is how you can turn any image, any shape in Design Space into something custom that you can carry out into all of your custom branding. So I'm going to turn this back into color, turn it back to white. And once you're done with your item, the last thing you need to do is grab all of it and flatten. Okay, that's going to turn it into a print then cut where it's not cutting out all of the elements separately. Okay, so I'm going to show you quickly how I customized this. So I just added this reef. I'm going to delete this, and coming into the text, I'm going to choose, I'm just going to put WC, which is Wildish Crafts, which is what I use for my posts. Okay, I ungrouped it, and I'm just going to add a W here, and I'm just going to add a C. This is me creating my logo. you can definitely create a logo on Design Space. Coming into images again, you can search for botanical frame. This is how I found this one. Nope, not bookmark. We want to see all of them. So you can see here, this is a botanical frame. If botanical's not your thing, you can look for lots of different frames, but that's how I found this one. And just by using a frame and some letters, I've basically created myself a logo. Using a frame and some letters, I've basically created myself a logo. And so now you can see when it comes to doing print then cut. If I grab these, there's two ways you can turn either your image or your text into print then cut. That's by, let's group these together. That's by going here and turning it into a print then cut, or let me go back, by flattening it. Okay, so if you're using my template and you make yourself a little logo, or if you edit my text and you put it onto, let me group my tag together and send that to the back. Okay, let's align this in the center. I'm just going to bring it slightly down. Okay, so if you're using my tag or my template, for example, and you're putting your logo or you're editing my words, which I'm going to show you in a minute, one thing that you have to remember when it comes to print then cut, I flattened this logo so you can see here it says print then cut. If I just grab these and I attach them, what's going to happen when I send it to the mat, when it's cutting out either my cardstock or my stickers, it's going to cut out this WC logo separately to the tag. And the reason for that is because it's just attached. Yes, they are both print then cut, but they are attached to each other. So these actually will read as two different elements. When it comes to print then cut, what you want to do is you want to grab everything and flatten. So now, even though everything is print then cut, what we are telling the machine, what we're telling our Cricut, is that the tag is the outline and everything on the inside is print. So everything on the inside is print and the tag is the outline or the shape that we want to cut. So remember that when you're doing print then cut, you can't just change an element to print then cut and place it here. If you wanted to only cut out the tag shape, grab everything and flatten. Okay, so that is the tag. I'm going to come back to the templates that I've created. So these are the templates. Like I said, if you want to edit them, you can detach them. You can click on them, unflatten, and then you can edit the writing. For example, if you want to edit the writing, like I said, the verbiage I went for is shopping local and supporting our dream. You can add your business name, your website, your phone number, your social media handle. That's super important. And if you are fancy, you can also, for example, add a QR code for social media as well. That is also a possibility. So let me come down here to the main mat. All right. So today we're going to be using the Joy Extra. Now, if you haven't seen the Joy Extra in action, you're going to love it. So the Joy Extra compared to the Joy, you can actually do, you're going to love it. So the Joy Extra, compared to the Joy, you can actually do print then cut. And the Steve, oh, I think we disconnected again. Oh, okay. So if you use for cardstock, are going to be using 160 GSM. You can either use cardstock, you can use color board. For the I really like using 160 GSM. If you wanted to go higher than that, you can, but I think they're fine. And for the thank you cards, sometimes for the thank you cards, I do use medium cardstock. So let's go back to Design Space so that we can go to the map. So here is our project. I'm just going to print it exactly as it is so that you can see what they will look like. Okay. Oh, my Design Space seems to be, let me just reload my Design Space. Okay. I think the streaming software in Design Space, they kind of bash heads sometimes. So let me just reload Design Space, and we're going to make this. All right, there you go. It's back. All right, so I'm going to click Make. And I'm going to click A4 because that's what I'm using, and click continue. So I'd like to know, while we are waiting for our cut, if you have a small business, what do you do to set your business apart? Like, do you have any stickers you put with your items? Do you have any thank you cards? What do you do for your small business? Okay, so here I've connected to my Joy Extra. So one thing that you have to do before we do a print then cut is to calibrate your machine. My machine is already calibrated. I will show you after this where you go to calibrate your machine. So I'm going to go to send to printer and click next. Okay, so for me it's saying no printer found. That's because I don't have a printer connected, but here you would click on the printer you're going to use, or like me here, it's saying save to PDF. So basically that's what it's doing for me. It's saving to PDF, and then I take the PDF and I print it. So what I'm also going to do is I'm going to keep this add bleed on. The reason I'm keeping the add bleed on is because the corners or the tops, the sides of my cards have color, and so I always keep the bleed on when there's color touching the sides. If it was just all white on the sides, then I would turn off the bleed, and you would hit print here. And once you have your print, I'm going to click on I've already printed, and I'm using light cardstock today. Okay, so let's go over to the mat. Okay, so the great thing about making these is they're so easy to make. Honestly, it's something really small, but it really makes a big impact. So when you have your print, you'll see that there's an arrow. Okay, that arrow needs to go to the top of your mat. So the top corner, that's where that arrow needs to go. I'm going to use my brayer to make sure that my print is on there properly. Okay, and now I'm going to load my mat. I love how smooth the Joy Extra is. Okay, and once it's done reading the sensors, I'm going to go back to Design Space. Let me switch you back to Design Space, and I'm going to click Go. Okay, and so now you can see it's reading the sensors. I know a lot of people tend to shy away from doing Print Then Cut, but I actually love doing Print Then Cut. Okay, and now it's doing the cuts. Lolly said, I love adding little thank you stickers to the packets to keep them close. I really love that idea, actually. And if it has your small business branding on it, that's even better. Okay, I can't see the chat, so I'm hoping that you guys don't have any questions. So here I'm going to check that it's cut through. So I'm going to just make sure that it's cut through. Okay, it has. So I'm going to go back to Design Space and click Unload. And that is done with Design Space. Okay, so this is our print. I'm just going to move our machine back a little bit so that we can see. So these are our prints. So now, as always, when it comes to removing cardstock from your mat, don't pull up the cardstock. So you can see what's going to happen if I... So these are our prints. So now, as always, when it comes to removing cardstock from your mat, don't pull up the cardstock. So you can see what's going to happen if I pull up the cardstock. It's going to warp and it's going to pull up. So I'm going to turn this over. Okay, so I've got the first one up and slowly going to the next one. Okay, I'm trying to get to the comments, but I do know, I can't see them, but I know that there's some amazing ladies and I hope that they're assisting you. I'm sorry if you have any questions that I might be missing. Okay, so my mat is very, very new. That's why it's holding onto my print. So that's why I'm just going very slowly, pulling this back. Okay, and then I have one more. I did it. Okay, and then I'm just going to take my mat cover and put it back on. Always keep your mat cover on. It protects your mat and keeps it new for longer. Okay, so I'm just going to move this over here for now, and this is exactly why you don't pull your projects from the mat, because that's what they're going to turn out. Okay, so this is what we've made with our small business branding pack, which you saw earlier. And so here you can see they're really so simple, but really such a good item to add to your things. So I'm going to show you exactly what you can do as well. So if you don't have a printer, you can still do small business branding for sure. And how you can do that is by doing writing or drawing. So you can see here, let me bring these over. So this is the logo that I created, that I put onto the template that I showed you. And you can see here, it's on this Cricut craft board using a pen. So one of the things I love doing when it comes to small business branding, small business packaging, is instead of just popping earrings, which I found, there you go, instead of popping your earrings into like one of these bags here, actually making these like earring cards will make your product look just so much better. So here's my earring card, here's my logo, and I would put it in one of these. And as Lolly said, I would actually put a sticker in the back. So this is such a great idea. I also have a project that's got these, this is for keychains and this is for earrings. They have the same shape at the top, but you can put a logo that you can easily create in Design Space with like some elements that you find in Design Space. So that's one way you can level up your small business branding. So while I put the next one together, so this is something else that I love. This is a mug holder that I love making. And so we're going to put a tag on it. So these little tags here, so this is the small tag. I like using these tags either to, I put them on the mugs. I made this mug with Cricut infusible ink. So I either put them on the mug directly, and how I do that is with twine. If you know me, you'll know that I like more rustic vibe. So what I would do is I would cut a small piece of twine and attach the tag to the mug and just tie a bow. That's if I was doing like putting this in a box, if I was shipping it, for example. But sometimes my mugs, I don't ship them, I deliver them. So sometimes I like to put it in one of these holders. So that's what the holder is. And I would use the same little tag. So let me cut about that much twine. And I'm going to put it through here. So these holders here, I do have a project where I've shared these. It's like small business packaging. Oh yay! My chat's back. Hello guys, I can see you. Yes, okay, so Londi said for her baking business, she brands her packaging with custom stickers and logo. That absolutely is awesome, Londi. It really does set your business apart. Like I always say, you can sell earrings, but what makes your earrings different sometimes is adding that sticker, or like with your baking, if you're making cookies, adding stickers or adding some customization to your packaging really makes your business look just elite. And here I am trying to tie a bow. Okie dokie, yay, I tied a bow. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this off. Alright, so here I've put a little tag. It's behind. I actually would put it on there. A little tag on this mug holder. Sorry, my bow skills are terrible. Let me fix my bow so that you can actually see the tag. So when it comes to these tags, I don't put a phone number on them. And that's just because of where the customer is getting the item from. This one is just my logo. Again, it's creating that experience. Okay, let me get this bow right so we can actually see the tag. Okay, there you go. Alright, so that's it. Just adding a tag and some twine. If you wanted to add ribbon, you can add ribbon. Changes the way this mug is packaged, and it actually looks like it's handcrafted. It looks like it's from a store, you know, like a little fancy store. I am a fancy store. Alright, so that is the mug holders. Here is the little box. And this little box, I also made this little box with my Cricut, and for this little box you can do so much. So the little square, so this one that says business logo on it, you can pop your business logo on there, you can pop your name on it, and you can stick it on the box. You can either stick it in the middle, or I actually like to close the boxes with them. So that is such a cute way to add you to your items. So with this box, I would usually stuff it with something. So my business, I usually use like rose gold, pink, white, but just because of the camera, I thought it would be better to use black tissue paper. So I use tissue paper. Sometimes I use that stuffing. So here's the thank you card, and you can see I've added the WC. So it's the same thank you card that you saw in my template. I've just added my logo. I've taken out the flowers, put the logo. So putting a thank you card on the top of your item just makes so much of a difference. And you can even, if you wanted to, put your business sticker here. So that is another part of small business branding. I like the packing, I don't know what you call it, like packing stuffing. It's like wood. Someone tell me the word. Like filler. It looks like wood. I quite like that. So here you can see there's a thank you card. If I wanted to pop my earrings in there, how cute. I didn't make those earrings. So here's my earrings. They're going somewhere. I don't know where they're going. But popping my earrings in there, popping the thank you card on top. When the customer opens it, they have an experience. And the more you keep doing things where you're putting your logo, you're putting your vibe on your business, what's going to happen is your customer's going to recognize your business as soon as you see it. And Cricut, like all of these are made with my Cricut, with Cricut craft board. So I'm going to tell you while I prep the next item. So there's these amazing guys who make candles and skincare, and they used to buy small little boxes for 25 Rand a box, and then they got a Cricut Maker 3 and they make the same boxes for 1 Rand 25. So from 25 Rand, that's how much their business is saving. So here's my little Libby cup, my little Easter one. So your little cupcake that goes inside, how cute. When you're packaging it up for your customer, instead of just giving them the Libby, pop one of these cup cares in it. If they take care of their cups, you know their cup's gonna last a lot longer. In my cup care, I've just put a few things. If you want to edit, you can just click on the text and edit it. So that's my Libby cup, and then just a few more. So if you have these, I don't know what you call it. They're like pouches. If you have these pouches, like if you're shipping them, what's perfect for these pouches is either putting your logo in the front or putting your logo here so that they know it hasn't been tampered with. The same with these. If I put keychains in here or whatever it is, sometimes when I close it, I also just put one of these plain ones. So this one just has my business name on it. It doesn't have any branding. It's literally just text. I would take that. You can put them like, even just doing that adds, okay, this is bigger than it needs to be, but just adding it here, for example, changes the look of this branding. Okay, and then the last two that I will show you is how I use the tags. So let me move that over here. So when I'm doing t-shirts, I'm sure a lot of you do t-shirts as well. Let me put that here. I'm sure a lot of you do t-shirts in your business. Instead of just giving the t-shirts to customers, I like to use these tags. So this tag here is the one with the business logo, and this one here is the care. So usually the care, I put it on the inside. So I, you know, you get the labels as well, or there's a label up here. I would usually attach this one with twine. For example, something like this. So there's a hole that you would just put this through, and then through your label up here. I'm not going to do it, it's going to take a while. So through the label in there, you can tie that on, and that can go into your shirt. Okay, so imagine that's tied on, that's inside your shirt. And then on the outside of my shirts, what I like to do is I like to take some twine and wrap my t-shirts. Let's see how much I need. So I need quite a bit. Okay, so for my t-shirts, what I do is bringing my twine over. Okay, and this might not be your look if you want to add ribbon here, if you want to add tissue paper instead, but sometimes I do tissue paper as well. You can definitely do that. So here I'm going to add my big label to it, my big tag. Okay, if you don't have the little tag inside, you could also put this behind as well on the same item. And then I like to go one under and one over. Then add a little bow here. Today I'm doing bunny ear bows. It's Easter, I'm allowed to. Okay, and then you can bring that down over. You can change how you put the tag on, really is up to you. So just cutting it. Okay, so if your vibe is ribbons, then by all means use ribbons, use tissue paper if tissue paper is your vibe. But basically here is a cute way to wrap a t-shirt, and then you can put it in one of these big plastics. If you want to save plastic, then you can skip that as well. And then for my tote bags, I do the same thing as well. I wrap them in twine the same way I did this, and I would use one of these as well for my tote bags. But I also, for my tote bags, sometimes if I'm hanging up my tote bags, what I also do is, let's find a tag here. So if I'm going to like markets, for example, and I'm doing tote bag sales, that's when I will put phone numbers on these. So I do have a bunch of different ones. Some will have phone numbers, some won't have phone numbers. So here you can just tie on this with a little bow as well. I'm not going to do a bow. I'm just going to pop it on. And there, I've kind of branded this very simply. This I've elevated a little bit, added a thank you card. I think all of that makes such a huge difference. My desk looks like a big mess. I think all of that makes such a big difference. Hello everyone, to your brand packaging, because you can see just how much a little sticker can change how your item looks, how your item is packaged. It definitely elevates your business. So if you go to my project, you can edit that, you can add the words you want to add. You want to add phone numbers, you can. So like I said, with this one, these tags, sometimes it's just the logo, and then sometimes at the bottom I'll put my social media handle and my phone number. Those ones I take them to markets, because with markets I know putting your phone number on everything's a really good idea. The ones with just the logo, those are the ones where I'll do like a private sale, for example. Okay, so before we go, let me show you how on Design Space you can calibrate your machine. So again, here's my project. All you need to do is detach, okay, and then go here and unflatten. Once you unflatten, you can see the elements are separate and you can edit them as you wish. But before you do your print then cut, one thing we want to do is calibrate your machine. So you want to come down here to settings. You're going to choose your machine. I'm going to choose machine calibration Joy Extra. Click start and then follow the prompts in Design Space. And that's basically how we do it. So thank you so much for joining this class. I hope you learned something. I hope you got some inspiration for your small business branding. And like I said, if flowers are not your thing, if you do stuff for like kids, put animals on there. If you do stuff, I do a lot of anime stuff for boys. I know they do not want thank you cards, so I leave out the thank you cards and I give them stickers of, you know, just things I think they would think was really cool, little sayings. So for those guys, I would leave out the thank you card and put the stickers. So depending on who your client is, depending on what your vibe is, go with that. It's always easier to shine when you're true to yourself, true to your brand, than when you're trying to copy someone else, for sure. So just take a minute and decide who is your customer, what is your brand, what do you want to shine, and then you can create your custom packaging. Thank you so much for joining the class.